Good morning, Al, and for those of you that do not know me, my name is Peter Sikorsky. I am the owner of Moe's Guitars, located in Hawthorne, New Jersey. Today is July 8th, 2022, and the purpose of this video is to document what I feel is compelling evidence that Al's 59 Les Paul is indeed just that, a vintage Les Paul. So first let me start by saying I have no financial interest in this instrument presently or in the future. There have been many people over the period of the past 13 months that have worked with me, so the opinion that I am about to share is not solely based by myself. I need to bring up a point of reference on those that consider themselves to be experts. This guitar runs a very close parallel to the rediscovery of the lost Leonardo. And for those of you that have viewed the documentary on that painting or have read the story, know the outcome. I honestly feel the outcome on this instrument will be as spectacular. So let's get to the facts as we know them. Some of the people involved in this endeavor carry weight in the industry, and that's what we want. Kim at Historic Makeovers was kind enough to assist me and guide me in what to look for. For those of you that do not know Historic Makeovers or Kim, who is the owner, he is the person that restores Joe Bonamassa's 59 Les Pauls. Enough said. We had Buzzy at Lark Street Music, a vintage guitar dealer who I know for years and I think is one of the most honest people I've ever met. Look at the instrument. I took the instrument in December to Rudy Pencer. No introduction needed for Rudy. Al and I tracked down through a friend of Al's, Kevin Walsh, who was head of artist relations at Gibson when Henry bought the company. I just spoke with Kevin yesterday. Kevin also has come to the same conclusion I have. Doug Tulick, probably the leading expert on Dan Electro instruments, a former shop owner, and very well versed in Les Paul guitars, after looking at the evidence, has reached the same conclusion I have. So let's go to the guitar. So we know Al purchased the instrument 77, 78 from Rudy when Rudy just opened. We know the instrument was sold to Al as a 59 Les Paul, and it was rather inexpensive. I think it was around $1,100, $1,200. Remember, these guitars, late 70s, early 80s, didn't have much value. So we actually have a website. It is www.chasingthevoodoo.net that I'm going to walk you through. There's photos, brief explanations, and my conclusion. So the guitar that everybody has been criticizing and trashing is in fact this Cherry Sunburst Les Paul Standard that Al's playing in the studio circa 77, 78. Now, how do we know it's the same guitar? The 9th fret inlay on this instrument is extremely distinctive. It has a dark streak running through the center of it. So this is a cover dated 1980. Obviously a photo from the elegant Gibson tool which this guitar was used on. And you can see the fret marker. Let's fast forward to 1983 with the release of Scenario. The guitar is now black, the pickups are changed, but your inlay remains. So no questions, no doubts, it is the same instrument. So the reason everybody feels that this guitar is not authentic is because of this headstock. The headstock veneer has been changed, and I'm going to walk you through our discovery. Going back to June of 2021, Al contacted us while in session based on the referral from two associates to do some work on his instruments. We went up to the studio, I saw the guitar, and I asked, is this not the guitar that Joe Bonamassa bought? And he said Joe never bought it, he borrowed it, and we asked if we could look at it. So Matt, my luthier, was with me. We flipped the guitar over, and under Al's studio lighting, we can clearly see the headstock break. And there it is. It is so severe that some type of Bondo was used to strengthen the break. Now, this actually brings up a lot of questions that I'm not going to get into at the moment, but Rudy Pencer himself has told Al and myself that the wood on the headstock and the neck tenon, and the body are that of the same. So renecking is out of the question. Nobody would reneck a guitar with a headpiece that looks like that. Let's go to the front of the headpiece. First thing we did after removing paint was take the truss rod cover off. Now, you may not be able to see it through this video, but again, go to the website, www.chasingthevoodoo.net. All of this is there for your viewing. The headstock veneer has been replaced, and it's poorly cut. Upon removal of the truss rod cover, there was a piece of masking paper still covering the brass adjustment nut with black overspray. That raises a whole lot of other questions, but we know that paper was sandwiched between the face of the headstock and the back of the veneer. Also, the material of the veneer is consistent with that of a newer Gibson USA Les Paul, not of a vintage guitar. So anybody with more than minimum knowledge that would look at this guitar and that headstock, or if they got past the headstock and removed the truss rod cover, would walk away and say it isn't. So once we did this, I contacted Kim at Historic Makeovers, and Kim gave us a series of instructions as to what to look for. So we pulled the front pickup, and with Kim's guidance, we carefully removed the paint from the long neck tenon. Now, again, we're talking 1977, 78. I've asked this question to everyone that has worked with me in favor of or against this instrument in the past 13 months. And nobody is able to give me the answer. So here is the question that would prove me wrong. What company dating 1977 or prior was manufacturing replicas with long neck tenons? I know of none. And so far, none of the experts do either. So, the reason we removed the paint from the long neck tenon is to eliminate the possibility of years 56 down to 52. So during the course of those years, Les Pauls had P90 pickups that had their mounting screw holes towards the center and actually went into the long neck tenon. So if this was a 56 or earlier, there would be evidence of P90 height adjustment screw holes. There are none. Secondly, we've heard the guitar's a recap, meaning somebody took possibly in earlier year, wanted to convert it to humbuckers, and they re-topped the guitar with flame maple. Well, were there people recapping guitars back then that had little value? Possibly, but I don't know of any. But if there was, the sidewall of the front pickup humbucker route would not be smooth. This is smooth. So that tells me this is a factory route, which actually could be as early as 1957, when the first humbucker appeared on a Gibson Les Paul. Once we had those two pieces of evidence, Kim instructed us to remove paint from between the pickups. If the guitar was earlier than a 58, it would most likely not have a center seam maple cap. It would be left or right, it would be off center. This has a flame maple top, highly flamed, with a center seam. That dates the guitar to as early as 1958. Now, in addition, we removed paint from the back sidewall of the front pickup mount, exposing the original cherry red finish below. So going back to the very beginning, what I said about the fret marker, we know that the guitar we are talking about is very much this guitar. And there's many videos and photos of it, and it's magnificently gorgeous. Could be one of the best looking bursts discovered. So, nothing on the instrument other than the switch and possibly the studs from the tailpiece and stop bar do I feel are original. There are no original parts left. However, I, along with many others, feel the remaining husk of this instrument is without a doubt a 58 to 60 Les Paul standard. There's other evidence that leads me to believe it's a 59 or 60, such as the larger fret wire, and that is documented again on the webpage. Now, with that being said, there are always going to be people that, for whatever reason, are going to hate. And there are people that are going to want to believe without knowledge. And then there are just people with facts like me. It's no secret, Al's been a hero of mine for 4 decades. Absolutely love his body of work. He's a great guy. I have a tremendous amount of respect for him. But again, I have no financial interest in this. And if the instrument turned out to be anything but what I and others believe it to be, I would be stating that. So, I believe so much in this instrument that I have contacted Christie's auction, who also handled the sale of the lost Leonardo. I've contacted Heritage Auctions, and I have constructed the Meola Reverb Shop. I really believe if marketed correctly, once restored, this guitar can bring as much as $400,000. And with that being said, I welcome anybody to prove me wrong and tell me what company was manufacturing Honduras mahogany replicas prior to 1977 with humbuckers and a long neck tenon. Thank you and have a great day, gentlemen. If you have any questions, Al has my number.